Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. Today we're doing a full review of Ruby Wood by Exaltatum. This is a miniature bottle that was sent to me for free for review, and yeah, we'll get into talking about this one. It gives me a couple of different things which seems kind of contradictory, and I've really not heard anyone else mention this aspect of it, so maybe it's just me being a bit strange. But the main theme of the fragrance is built around a kind of a deep, jammy kind of rose. There's hints of an incensey vibe, especially if you smell it like this. From the bottle you do pick up more of an incensey kind of touch, leaning on the kind of almost spiced fresh frankincense and resins mixing with this kind of almost jammy fruity like rose, which is a lovely combination. But when I first spray this on my hand, now and again I get something in the opening that for some reason, I can't quite figure out why, but it smells fresh in a laundry kind of way, and I've asked a couple of people that have smelled this if they get that as well, and they don't. It seems to be just me so far, but I do get something that is a little bit fresh and kind of reminds me of something being quite clean or laundry-esque. I'm not sure if it's somehow the combination of the kind of the brightness of the frankincense, or the geranium has kind of a citrusy like brightness to the floral. There's also cardamom in here, which is again kind of bright and fresh, and pink pepper as well. I don't know if it's the combination of these notes of the kind of the brightness that those bring that is somehow tricking my brain into kind of imagining, oh, this kind of smells a little bit kind of laundry-esque, just kind of a hint, a vibe of that, kind of clean smelling, but wrapped up at the same time with a jammy kind of sweetness of this fruity rose. But I don't get that all the time. Now and again I kind of get that in the initial top notes. Again, not quite sure what that is there. I think, like I say, maybe the freshness of these different materials, the spices, the resins, may be contributing a little bit to that kind of vibe in my brain. But the main bulk of the fragrance as a whole, and I've actually smelled this on other people, I sprayed my family with this to smell it as a top note on other people, and I don't get the that kind of laundry fresh thing on other people. So I get more of the, again, like a fruity rose. So this has kind of red berries and raspberry kind of fruity notes, pairing with a rose that to me isn't, it's not like a dark rose in my opinion. It's a little bit, for me, a little bit of a fresher rose, although the composition itself is kind of deep, with the kind of base notes and the sweetness providing this kind of rich deepness. But the rose itself to me isn't, it's a little bit brighter. But I think the geranium, maybe the geranium's used to kind of brighten and make the rose a little bit more alive and to build the rose accord. I think that maybe that's why that gives me that impression. But the sweetness is very nice. Again, it's kind of a jammy berry-like sweetness with this, pairing beautifully with the rose, with this kind of hints of a fresher kind of spiced incense. Very, very nice. That is the bulk of the fragrance, is this jammy, slightly spiced incense like jammy rose. That's the core of the fragrance. There is nuances now and again I get on my skin of a slight green leafiness, where I can almost imagine kind of berries on a bush that have a little bit of a green, leaf in between the berries. I kind of get that vibe now and again, but yeah, kind of jammy and sweet. As it dries down a little bit more of the woods, there's an oud accord in here as well as sandalwood, and yeah, you get this kind of soft, mellow woodiness in the base that's a little bit kind of musty, and it kind of tails out at that. It's very nice, very enjoyable to wear. I would say it's unisex, leaning slightly on the feminine. If I had to kind of ballpark it with other fragrances, it gives me similar-ish vibe to something like Oud Satin Mood by Maison Francisca Jean, although they're definitely easily, you can tell the difference. They're not the same, I'm not saying that, but a similar kind of vein, if you know what I mean, of a sweet kind of deep sweet rose and woodiness. This also has a slight violet-like nuance in here. It doesn't come across powdery or ironone-like, but you do get an idea of this kind of florally like rose violet thing going on in the mid. Very nice, very well balanced. It's very skillfully put together and thought out, and it wears really well on the skin. But like I say, might lean a little bit feminine for some people, like Oud Satin Mood does, as a sweet kind of jammy rose, but I enjoyed wearing it. So I would say unisex for the colder weather, winter, autumn. I would say it's quite rich, so it's not particularly a casual everyday fragrance. It's more of a special occasion or night out fragrance where you want something a little bit ballsy and rich. In terms of performance, I get around 6 to 7 hours on my skin in longevity with pretty good sillage. The projection isn't huge, kind of mellow projection, but the sillage, it does kind of leave trails and wafts around, and you kind of, when you're walking around outside, you can smell it around yourself fairly easily. You get kind of wafts of it for the first couple of hours, so the performance is quite good. It lasts a lot longer on clothing, like days on your t-shirts, but on skin itself, kind of 6 to 7. It's definitely one to check out if you like jammy kind of rose fragrances. I think this will be up your street. Very well executed, and yeah, nothing too much more I can add to that. It's very, as it dries down, it's quite smooth, kind of reminds me of textured, like something almost like velvet in a way. It does have a really nice smoothness, and yeah, it's good. Check it out if you like jammy rose fragrances. I believe they ship to America now. I'll have to double check, but I know the perfumer did the Dangerous Goods course where they, she can post overseas. So I would imagine now that they can post to the USA or wherever around the world. So check the website out for that. Get yourself a sample if you can. If you like jammy rose fragrances, I'll see you again next time. Take care, everyone. Bye.